temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is now in its fifth day and has been extended at least until Wednesday. Qatar and the U.S. helped broker the extension, with Hamas promising to release 10 more Israeli hostages in exchange for 30 Palestinian prisoners. But the pause in fighting is proving very fragile, with late reports of explosions inside of Gaza. Let's cross right to France 24's Luke Shrago in Tel Aviv. Luke, what do we know at this point about these reports of explosions inside of Gaza?
Well, there have been reports in local media that the Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli military, saying that it was targeted in the Gaza Strip with 3 explosive devices and that a number of its soldiers were likely hurt. It said that they responded and that they responded to taking fire as well. They've said that they have not been in any violation of truce agreements. Now, it wasn't long before Hamas too responded, saying that Israeli troops had in fact been in violation of the ceasefire deal that had been agreed, and they said that it was dealt with. They said, and they've now been calling on international mediators to push Israel to adhere to the truce. So a lot of finger pointing and blame going on. It really does show just how fragile this ceasefire in fact is. The question has to be asked as to whether it is going to it's going to be extended again. It's currently in its 5th day. It's been extended through Tuesday and through Wednesday, with the hope very high that it may in fact continue to be so, with hostages continuing to be released.
Yeah, exactly. And we had word earlier this afternoon that Hamas would release additional Israeli hostages. What's the latest on that front?
That's correct. Lists were handed over without objection between the Palestinians and Israelis. The little further news on a release on Tuesday so far. Very little is usually known before any hostages are handed over to the Red Cross. That is when information starts to come out. Now, at this point, we've had 69 hostages released against 150 Palestinian prisoners. Usually the situation is going on. There's about 10 Israeli hostages per 30 Palestinian prisoners. The question again has to be asked how long the truce can last. It's been pushed on forwards another 48 hours. That's been really raising a lot of hopes that they may be able to keep things going despite its fragility. However, Israel is on its drive to end Hamas. It's saying that it has considered the possibility of extending the truce indefinitely for as long as hostages are released. But they said that if and when it became clear that there would be no further releases, that it would likely be pursuing its aims and its offensive. Now, that's led to a lot of international pressure, particularly coming from the United States and Qatar, who've been urging that should Israel restart its military offensive, that it not target civilians in Gaza in the south as they have been purported to do in the north, really not to push them to flee as they have been pushed down to the south, with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken due again in Israel before the end of the week.